Somebody can do the curtain there, this side, whoever is sitting. A few rounds of alternate nostril breathing. If you can do it, will help bring the focus back to the present. Close off the right nostril with the thumb. Breathe in through the left. Close off the left nostril with the forefingers. Breathe out through the right. Breathe in again through the right and continue at your own pace. Let the focus be on the exercise. Long, deep, and mostly silent breaths. The next time you breathe in through the right nostril, release the hold, bring the hand back, breathe normally. The breath follows a rhythm which is palpable. Even though one may think that this rhythm is specific to them, there is a way in which the breath connects one to the entire Jagat. I am of course connected to the entire Jagat of living, breathing things, beings. I'm also connected to the source of where all these came from, the 5 elements. In my respiration, I can hear the breeze. And the waves of respiration, in-breath and out-breath, remind us of the ocean coming to the shore and then going back. There is a rhythm. I am in step with this rhythm. A silent yet palpable rhythm. All that is here is one source. Sat, which is I, Atma. Ekam, Advitiyam. This is a relief. Sat is consciousness, is that which exists. I exist. Sat exists. One unbroken, non-dual existence. Body exists. How do I know this? Body consciousness is. Body awareness is. Body, object of my awareness. I can visualize the body. I can objectify the body. Body cannot objectify me. Knowing the inner distance between myself and the body is also a relief, because I need not be subjected to whatever the body is undergoing. Mind is. Mind awareness is. Like the body, mind too is an object of awareness. Awareness, I, cannot be objectified. A seer is never seen. Consciousness is. When the mind strays away from this truth, from contemplating on this truth, I bring it back. As though distracted. Distracted consciousness is. Now, focused, as it were, focused consciousness is. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Chant consciousness is. Hearing consciousness is. Hearing happens in the presence of I, consciousness, awareness, Atma, Aham. Silence consciousness is. No chant consciousness is. What remains in between two chants? My own presence. Beyond talk, beyond the silence in between two words, when I move the body, movement consciousness is. Shifting awareness is. Awareness does not shift. It appears to shift with the body without really moving. Now I have trained the body, commanded the body to be still. Stillness consciousness is. Unmoving consciousness is. Formless consciousness is. tat ejati appears to move. Tat na ejati appears to be still. I, awareness, consciousness. When I think of a faraway object, faraway awareness is right here, right now. Tad dure, tadvantike. Now consciousness is, here consciousness is. Distance consciousness is. Proximity consciousness is. Consciousness is the indweller of this body, mind, complex. Indweller consciousness is tadu antasya sarvasya. What is outside this body is also consciousness, awareness. Outside consciousness is tadu sarvasya asya bahyatah. Internal consciousness is. When I focus on this body, mind, sense complex, consciousness appears as though it is within this assemblage. When I think of the mountains, the river, external consciousness is. All-pervasive consciousness is. Uninhibited by space. Or concepts of inside, outside. No name consciousness is. No form consciousness is. Ever-present consciousness is. Now, I. Now, I am. Now, now, now. May I see that. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Apyayantu mamangani Vakpranaschakshushrotramatho balamindriyani cha sarvani sarvam brahmaupanishadam maham brahma nirakuryam mama brahma nirakarot anirakaranamastva nirakaranam me astu tadatmani nirateya upanishatsu dharma te mahi santu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Sadeva Somya idamagre asid. Can everybody hear? Yeah. Ekameva advitiyam sat. We are introduced, as we said, to Sad Vidya, Vidya that is known as Sat, Vidya of Sat. And what is this Sat? Sat is Jagat. Jagat and Sat are one and the same. Not quite, but yes. Jagat is Sat. Sat is not Jagat. But how to understand this? Pot is clay. Clay is pot. No, exactly like that. Pot is, again, we cannot imagine pot without clay or any substance. Plastic, metal, whatever you make the pot out of. Pot cannot be without a substance. And then, but that substance can be without pot. So then we bring in causality. Sataha karanatvam praptam. Karanatvam means causality. And what kind of a causality it is? An as though causality. Because how are we to explain that from which nothing has come, that from which, by which nothing is sustained, that unto which nothing goes back, because nothing has come. How can anything goes back? You can't say nothing has come but everything has gone back. That will make no sense. So this being the case, we have to see that it's an inconvenient truth. The 6th chapter begins with an inconvenient truth, because who is studying this if nothing has come? If nothing has come, then what is this paper sitting in front of me? For that matter, what is this body sitting in front of the room, in the room? What are all these fixtures? Chara charatmakam jagat, sthavara jangamam jagat, that which is in the form of moving, unmoving things, this jagat in the form of sentient and insentient things. What on earth is this if it cannot be, if we say nothing has come, nothing has been sustained, nothing goes back? Somehow it's a really inconvenient truth, because it is contrary to my own daily lived experience. It's an inconvenient truth. So therefore, pot has to come into the picture. Because in the morning, I looked into the neighbor's yard, and all that was there was a lot of earth, clay. I went to work, came back, and then no clay at all. Series of pots, jugs, lids, Krishna figurine also made of clay. Everything is there neatly lined up. Yard sale, everybody come and buy. Very interesting. We can't say the clay is gone, because the clay is not gone. Similarly, in a manifest Jagat, Sat is not gone. Jagat is because Sat is. So therefore, the Chandogya Upanishad, attributing a causality to this Sat, says, Tat Aikshat. This Sat, which is also called what? Tat, that Jagat Karanam Brahma saw. How can it see? Does Atma have eyes? No. Does Sat have eyes? No. How can it see? They just add as though. That's all it is. It saw means it visualized. It's all knowledge without karana. Karana means instruments of knowing. All knowledge without a head, all knowledge without ears, all knowledge without eyes. But we are very gross. We only understand it saw, it conquered, it came, it created. This is all we know. So the Upanishad is constrained to speak to us in our language. Otherwise, already this is getting really weird. People may get up and go. People may say, this is not something, this is not my cup of tea. What is happening over here? So therefore, the Upanishad the Shruti has to come down to our level and look at it exactly as the making of this pot. What does the potter do? The potter sees. Saha or sa aikshata. Sees. Sees what? The clay. Visualizes. Visualizes what? All the other pots that I have made, I visualize, right? Because I know how to make. That know-how is there in the word aikshata. The word aikshata means knowledge. Knowledge of what? After all, the verb to know is a transitive verb. Sakarmaka dhatu. So immediately we have to say knowledge of what? Pot. Potter has to have what? What knowledge? Pot knowledge. Very simple. Weaver has to have what? Cloth knowledge. Cloth knowledge weaver has to have. And then pot knowledge potter has to have. And the maker of all has to have what? All knowledge. Sarvajnaha. Ghatam janati iti ghatagnaha. Patam janati iti patagnaha. And then sarvam janati iti sarvajnaha. All knowledge has to be there, resting in this conscious being whose existence is non-separate from mine, which is where we have to go. That Sat is this Sat, Sa Atma Tvamasi Shvetaketo, this is the teaching. And so, but there is a long way. You can't just jump and say, yeah, I believe you. No, it has to be understood. It has to be understood as though there is a berry in the palm of your hand, which you cannot deny. Haste amalakam iva. Like a berry sitting in the palm of your hand, which you cannot, whose existence you cannot deny. This knowledge has to gain that assimilation, that level of assimilation. That's why between the introduction and the conclusion, there are many steps involved. And the first step here is to see that there is a possibility of all knowledge without residing in a head. Because if we talk of head, then no matter how big one's head is, it is still what? Finite. Still what? Very finite. So this untethered knowledge of everything, it visualized. So what did it visualize? Adi Shankara in the Bhashya will say, it visualized the previous cycle of creation. Why did it visualize the previous cycle of creation? Just like the potter thought of all the previous parts that she or he had made and said, oh, okay, that works. This shape works. This size works. And then last time I had made this particular design and it sold out very quickly. So let me make more of that. Why reinvent the wheel? You don't need to reinvent the wheel because it's already what? There. So the Jagat is with whom in an unmanifest form, Sat. Sadeva idam Jagat, what was it? Sadeva asit. And now also what is it? Sadeva asti. Tomorrow what will it be? Sadeva bhavishyati. It will be Sat. It is Sat. It was Sat. There is nothing other than Sat. And so too, if we come back to the potter visualized the pot Jagat. So my pot shop, the shop which sells all the pots, you have to be careful here because the word pot has another meaning these days. Don't take that meaning. Okay, that's a dangerous meaning. This is, we confine it to only this meaning. Okay, yeah. So, pot shop means, some other things, especially in the West. This is what is there. And if you don't understand it, you are very innocent. Be that way only. Yeah. So So if I have to have all these pots in my shop, I know exactly who is going to buy what. I know exactly how many of this was sold last time, why is this popular, and why is this going out of style, what should be retired, which kind of pots should be retired because their purpose has been served by something else. It is no longer needed. All this, the pot maker, the potter knows. The potter also what? Aikshata, visualizes. Because the blueprint of the pot and all the various pot jagat is with the potter. Similarly, the blueprint of the entire jagat of names and forms is with this being who is now called what? Sat. Non-separate from this being, the whole blueprint, meaning the know-how of the jagat is there, and the previous cycle of the jagat was what? Infallible. Why? There were no mistakes. Why? Because all knowledge, infinite presence and all knowledge, there is no room for error. So the last cycle of creation was perfect, and so why bother adding anything else? So visualized tad aikshata, tad asrijata. Asrijata means brought forth. Brought forth means what? We need raw materials. At least the potter had the blueprint of the pot, and in front of her or in front of him, what was there? Clay. Raw material was there. Same thing with anything in the universe. Cake maker, baker has what? The flour in front of him or her. Mala maker has another kind of flour in front of him or her. Everything, the raw, without the raw material, you cannot think of any creation. Raw material is needed for creation. So where did the jagat raw material come from? If you want to bake a cake, you can borrow the atta from the neighbor, all the raw materials. From this side neighbor you borrow the sugar, that side neighbor you borrow the flour, and the person staying in front, you borrow the butter, okay? And then you can make a cake. Where will Sat go? Because idam jagat, what was it? Sat, jagat is yet to come, time is yet to come, space is yet to come. Where will Sat go? Some theologies say God made this world out of nothing. Yeah, nothing. To that we have to add a small word, else. Nothing else other than itself. It is the knowledge, it itself is the raw material. Now this is too much. The potter produces the clay and also produces the pot. This is a head-scratching moment. How can we fathom this? How can we bend the mind around it? Easy. That is why we bring in dream avastha. Dream state is a prime example of how this so-called creation is taking place. What happens in the dream? Are you there with a lot of raw materials for the dream? Do you collect before you go to sleep? You don't even know what you are going to dream. You dream. Dream comes. You're celebrating your birthday. Where? In the dream. By the water, somewhere. Nice lake is there. But after all, what kind of a celebration sitting by yourself? So boring. So who else has to come? All your friends have to come. Please come, they are all there. Are they really there? Abba, yes. People came in the dream state, that means. Are they really there? No. Is the lake by which you are standing really there? No. Let's say you have catered some nice food for all the friends. Is the food really there? No. Are the people who are serving things on toothpicks, that is called appetizer, that which is at the end of a toothpick. Things are there. Are they really there? No. People are talking, people are clinking the glasses and raising a toast. Is it there? No. People are giving talks. Are the talks really there? No. All this is your own jagat that you have crafted through the raw materials of memory and desire. Very, very fascinating this is. These are the two raw materials in the dream. Memory means previous birthdays. What happened, what should have happened, what did not happen is all thought of. And then the desire to celebrate with everybody, all my loved ones should be there, is the raw material for bringing forth this dream. Very beautiful dream. This is on the Vyashti level, individual level. You give yourself a dream body, you give yourself a body in the dream, and then you give your friends also their bodies. Don't you? Because every friend is who? Non-separate from you. And all the insentient things are also what? You. Insentient things like the lake, the chairs, the gentle breeze that is blowing, the nice sun that is out, not too hot, and then the food, things on toothpicks, also you. People who are serving them, also you. The toast made to you is also you. The talks that people giving about you is also you. In fact, you pervade the entire dream phenomenon. In other words, you pervade the entire dream jagat. There is not a single corner of the dream jagat, not a single thing, moving, unmoving, sentient, insentient, that is not pervaded by your presence, whose raw material is what? Memory and desire. Some of these poets know this, There is this poem called The Waste Land by T.S. Eliot, where he says, April is the cruelest month. Why? Because it brings forth, stirring memory and desire and sprouting dull roots in the spring rain. Something like that he writes. So, on the individual level, here also I have created a dream jagat from nothing else other than this sentient conscious presence which is myself alone. And we saw yesterday, whatever happens at the individual level happens at the total level. Whatever happens here is the same law elsewhere. That's why the universe is infallible. That is why it can be studied. Because it's manifest in the series of laws. And so too here, my raw materials for my jagat, what jagat? Dream jagat, is what? Memory and desire. What about Sat? Same thing. Memory or the visualization of the past creation And then desire. Oh, Sat also has desire. I thought I had to give up some of these desires, these kind of clawing, binding, needy desires. I had to give up in order to emotionally and spiritually grow. But Sat also has desires. What do you say here? As though the desires are for a kind of a variegation, just like you sprout forth into your dream and then you are no longer yourself, you are part of this vast dream world over which you pervade, in which you participate, both. You are an observer, you are a participant, you are untouched and yet you are in the dream. Same thing at the level of Sat. The same thing, tat aikshata, tad asrijata. In the Taittiriya Upanishad, saha akamayat. What is the kamana? What is this desire? Bahusyam. Let me be as though. Yeah, don't say many, all right? Yeah. There is not even any. What to talk of any with an M in front of it? Yeah. As though, let me variegate, prajayeya, let me just populate, let me clone myself. As though, let me variegate. So this desire, we have to explain this desire, because this desire, where did this come from? It is not, is it intrinsic to Sat? No. If it is, and then if it is extrinsic to Sat, some words stick on the tongue and refuse to come out. If it is extrinsic, then we have a problem. What is the problem? Sat is not all. Sat is not limitless. Sat cannot be the cause because it is not all. So we have a problem because Sat is free from desire. Sat is free from any kind of want. There is the creation is not sprouting because of the want of the creator. Then it would be a very partial Jagat, because it would be a Jagat custom made for Bhagavan. Only the things Bhagavan likes would be in the Jagat, nothing else. But that's not how the Jagat is. And so therefore, we have to see that this desire is an as though desire. This Ichha Shakti, the power to desire, is an as though quote unquote attribute, non-separate from Sat. The Shakti, that Shakti, Maya Shakti. Maya, non-separate from Brahman. Maya, not a real entity. Maya, not outside of Brahman. Maya, not a parallel entity to Brahman. Because otherwise they will be anantya hanihi, the anantyam, the limitlessness of Sat will suffer. So we have this elaborate way to understand that which was not wanting to create, particularly because there was no want, so there is no creation. So the want is introduced in the form of a quickening agent. Like there is flour, there is water, and then what? Yeast is there. Mix the yeast in warm water, and then you knead the dough and just put a towel there and keep it. After that, what? It becomes fat. This is what the Mundaka Upanishad says. Tapasa chiyate brahma. Chiyate means puts on weight. You put the seed in the water, what happens? Gets fat. Fat with knowledge, fat with possibilities, fat with desire. Don't ask the question, whose desire? We have an answer for that too. Jiva's desire. But where are the jivas? In a latent form. If they are in a latent form, avyakta, like the Jagat, then how can something that is latent have desire? Because the only explanation is that which is latent is in the form of desire. And that desire, equipped with that desire, karanatvam praptam satah. For this, the Sat has the crown of causality put on it. And Sat wears the crown of creator. Creatorship is attributed to Sat, out of which this whole Jagat, like even your dream Jagat, has come. And then at the end of the dream, what happens? What happened to the lake? What happened to your friends? What happened to the party? Swaha. Yeah, totally swaha. You don't get up with your friends sitting around the bed and feeling a little, annoyed. Why did you dream of me? I need to go to office. Especially friends who are not even living in the same town. Look at what you have done. Now I have to catch a flight. I have to call in sick or something. That doesn't happen. And then there is not all the toothpicks after the food has been eaten is not strewn around on the floor in your bedroom. It's a clean sweep. No residue of the dream is left behind. When you wake up, all taken back. So too with this Jagat, no residue is left behind. Same thing. Yad yatha iha tat tatha amutra. Very, very beautiful. So this Maya Shakti is an as though accessory. An accessory of creativity, a creative accessory, a desiring accessory, and a knowledgeable accessory. Because if she didn't know what she was doing, then we would just have chaos. Ichha Shakti, Jnana Shakti, Kriya Shakti Swarupini. Invested with this accessory, Sat becomes. See, whatever you say, you have to be very careful here. Becomes what? Ishvara. Ishvaratvam praptam satah. Tadaikshata. Tat asrijata. Everything that has come. Everything has come now. Now there is a manifest Jagat. And what is this Jagat? We saw that. What was this Jagat? Sat. What is this Jagat? Sat. How can the Jagat be Sat? Because the very next phrase in this Upanishad is Tat Abhavat. Asrija Aikshata Asrijata Abhavat. Abhavat means? What does the word Abhavat means? Sat flew a kite. Yes? Abhavat means became. And then what do we have to add to the word became? As though. As though it became the entire Jagat. Same thing is expressed in the cosmology of creation in the Taittiriya Upanishad. Saha akamayat, saha asrijat, tat srishtva, tadeva anupravishat. Entered the whole creation. And then there is all these grammatical words, suffixes, which says after, after, after. There is a time lapse in the grammar, but not in the reality. Because the grammar is a product of time and space, it has the same, it is within the time-space matrix. Tat srishtva, having created, then it entered. No. Even though we are constrained to say it that way, Since there is no time, time and space is part of this manifestation, there is no time lapse and space lapse between the creation, the as though creation, and the entry, the as though entry. Yugapat, it is simultaneous. In other words, the Jagat is non-separate from Ishvara. Isha Vasyam Idam Sarva. All that is here is pervaded by Ishvara, just like my dream world is pervaded by my consciousness, by my awareness. I pervade the dream world. Ishvara pervades this entire Jagat of names and forms. Everything is just what? Sat, 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 Sat. Nothing other than Sat. So, Asrijat Abhavat. So, whatever there is Bhagavan. Just like everything in the clay world is non-separate from clay. Then we have to do a little bit of a checkup on what is the reality of that which has come forth from Sat, so to speak. What is the reality of this Jagat we have to see. We have a few words in the language. This is real. Many things we think are real. Table is real. Why? Because I can touch it. Pot is real because I can see it. The sound coming from outside is real because I can hear it. Gulab Jamun is real because I can taste it. This rose is real because I can touch the petal and say it is real. The word real is not very well understood because of the connection with objectification. Whatever I can objectify, I use the word real. This is the real thing. But really, what is the real thing? Coca-Cola, according to their advertisements. They also have cashed in on Vedanta. This is real. Because everybody is in search of real. Somebody is wearing a necklace. You go touch it, very nice. Is this real? Real means what? Gold. We do this in our everyday thing. Is it real? Or is it artificial? That is the idea. So we have our own definition of reality that is based upon how well it can be objectified using our own pramanas. What are our own pramanas? The 5 pramanas, that means of knowing, ways of knowing that we have discussed. Using those pramanas, we come to certain conclusions about what is real. What is real, what is not real, all this we have a standard for that. So this part can be objectified with many sense organs. Eyes, yes, check. Smell, check. And then texture, check. What else? Yeah, we won't go there, but check, yes. If you want some dirt in your mouth, sure, check. The childhood memory will come of eating dirt. Like Lord Baby Krishna. Check. And then kind of a hollow sound, which many other things also may have, but let's say it's not the ultimate proof of the existence of the pot, but it can be taken as a secondary proof. So this pot potentially can be objectified with all 5 sense organs. Correct? The Shastra has a different definition of real. We say, yat yat, that which can be, whatever can be objectified, that is real. The Shastra says, whatever can be objectified is not real because it can be objectified. This lands us in a potential soup in two different ways, because I have my own definition of reality, and what do I want in life? That which is real is what I want. I want the real job. I want the real education. Some universities, they don't have real education. Why? Because they are just online. You don't even know who is there. You just sit in front of the computer, and then after a while you get a certificate. You haven't met a single person in person. This is not a real university. I want to go to a real university. I want a real education. And the adopted child says, where are my real parents? No matter how loving the foster parents are, the adoptive parents are, what does the child say? I want to I want to put a petition. I want to find my real parents. We are obsessed with real. And then, after getting married, people will say, this is not a real marriage. We don't share anything in common. What are you talking about? This is a real marriage. We have nothing in common. You are going your way, I am going my way. This is not a real marriage. What do I want? A real marriage. The definition of which is in that person's head. So like this it goes on and on and on. The search for the real never comes to an end, because we are in the soup of taking the unreal to be real. And therefore, the word real, even in the regular parlance, in the common parlance, has a certain connection to everlasting. That which is real must be lasting. For how long? Forever. Otherwise it's not real. That's why when I touch the necklace and ask if it's real, what am I asking? Because gold is what? Considered to be lasting forever, compared to any kinds of chintzy materials like metal and all that, which will oxidize. The shine will go. First 2 times you wear it will be wonderful. After that, you can't wear it. Everybody will know. You can wear it, but everybody will know. And so, the word real and keeps undergoing change, and my pursuit of the real also keeps on undergoing change, keeps on becoming compromised, keeps on suffering in many, many ways, because I do not know really what is real. And I go after something else. What is the reality status? Because that which is real is not a thing. We already have established that. The Shastra says that which you cannot objectify is real, so you can't call it a thing that you can objectify. So the word real in our understanding has to shift from the discussion or the obsession with objectification to understanding that that which we call real or reality is not a thing but an understanding. It is an understanding, it's not an object. The problem, the reason why I am in trouble in the Jagat is because I have mistaken that which is real to be situated in an object. And I think if I find the right object,
sometimes even an experience. The right experience, which again can be objectified, the right object, the right objectification, the right experience will lead me to that everlasting what? What is everlasting? Happiness. That's the only thing that's everlasting. Because if sorrow was everlasting, nobody will want it, okay? Yeah. But how can I desire something that I do not know? Have I seen everlasting happiness? No. Then how can that be the focus of my desire? In a way, I know. I know this. Sleep itself is an example of everlasting, quote unquote, for 7 hours or however long I am asleep, happiness, where there is nothing other than me. Nothing is there other than me, and that is what is everlasting. I know that. And there is a cessation of sorrow. I know that. Even in between two desires, there is a cessation of sorrow, there is a cessation of longing. Whenever there is a cessation of longing, there is a sense of belonging. I am secure. I am full. I don't need anything. You can hear a silly joke and you can laugh. Pujya Swamiji had the ability to make people laugh even without a joke. How? He would say, I told a joke. Everybody except one person, one man did not laugh. Everybody laughed. 1 week later, that man came to me and said, Swamiji, it took me a whole week. But now, standing under the shower this morning, I finally figured out what that joke is. And he was laughing while he was saying this. He could barely contain himself. He was rolling on the ground, picking himself up, and finally he told Swamiji what he thought the joke was. Hearing which, Swamiji laughed. Till this day, we don't know what the joke is. So for this no joke, there are several laughters. Laughter number 1, when it was originally told and all the people laughed. Laughter number 2, that man's laughter when he finally thought what he knew was to be the joke. Then hearing which, Swamiji's laughter number 3, and then hearing this whole story, we all laughed. What is that? Laughter number 4. 4 laughs for no joke. This shows what? That I am in touch with something. I am in touch with something. Even without a joke, I can laugh. And even the saddest person, the most desperate person, wanting to jump off a bridge. This is what happened to the Turkish president. Turkish president is going on a bridge with his motorcade few years back. And he sees a man about to jump. He says, stop, stop, stop. He himself gets out, doesn't even wait for the people. He says, what are you doing? No, I'm in debt. My wife has left me. He told a lot of sad stories. There's nothing for me to live. My children are estranged from me. There's nothing for me to live. And the president stops and says, I will help you. Your debt, all this is because of your debt, you think? Yes. Because nobody wants to be around me because I made some bad decisions, fell into a life of gambling, etc. Now I am a changed man, but I cannot overcome this debt. I'm desperate. That's why I'm going to jump off this bridge. We have an emergency fund, and I will authorize this fund. And he calls the person sitting next to him in the same car and says, what is the amount? Give this person a check. Oh, we'll go and authorize it. No, give it to him right now. He is given, and then what? And the motorcade departs, and the man stands on the bridge and jumps again? No, not at all. I do not, I do kadachin aham na apriyaha. At any time I am not a self-loving person, because the self is alone real. It is alone everlasting. It is alone the cause of happiness that does not come to an end. And this I have to understand. So the reality, my understanding of reality has to shift to that which is undeniably real, and that is the definition of Sat. Abadhitam Sat. One definition, Trikalepi Tishtati iti Sat. That which is non-negatable and that which abides without change in all three periods of time. What are the three periods? Past, present, future. And by this lakshana, by these two lakshanas, when we look at things, they do not fulfill the definition of Sat. That is me. They do not fulfill the definition. Flower, negatable or not? Negatable. Because really, look at what is flower. Is this flower? No. Swamiji, that is petal. Okay, what is in the middle? Let's go to the heart of the matter. That is flower? No, those are stamens. Is this flower in the back? No, that is the stem. Then what is this thing called flower? Put together. So if I were to take, I'm not going to do that, but if I were to take apart this flower and hand it to you and say, put it together, are you able to oblige? Even with Fevicol, which is the famous local glue. You bring in the glue, you bring in this, what you will have on your hands is a sticky mess, not a flower. Not a flower. That put together, this is what is the beauty of it. Put together, shining as though it is real. But then, what is it? You can't say it's unreal. Here is where we need a few more words. Because unreal has its own definition. Unreal has, like for example, things that cannot exist are called unreal. Tuchham, non-existent, is called unreal. Like a square-shaped circle. Can it exist? No. The flowing hair of an egg. Unreal. This Adi Shankara illustrates very beautifully. Mrigatrishnambhasi snataha khapushpa kritashekharaha esho yati vandhya putraha shashashringa dhanurdharaha. Here is a spectacle to behold, Adi Shankara says. What is that? Here comes a young man. Oh, do tell more. He is very special. Why? Because he is freshly bathed in the mirage waters. Mrigatrishnambhasi, ambhasi, in the waters. Mirage waters, he has freshly bathed. And he has adorned his hair with a celestial flower that fell out of the sky. Khapushpa. Kham means space. Krita shekharaha. Alankrita shekharaha. Who is he? Who is he? Do tell. This is sounding very intriguing. He is the son of a woman who has never given birth, nor has adopted, nor surrogacy. Take away all those things. Impossible. He is the son of this kind of a woman, or we can even say he is the son of a woman who was never born. But yet he goes about his day holding a special bow made of the horns of a rabbit. Rabbit's horns. Who is this story being told by? The one who is mute, who cannot speak. Who is this story being heard by? The one who is deaf and who cannot hear. This is how the whole thing, the world of unreal is like that. Tucham. So we have two words now. That which is real, which is everlasting, which is unchangeable, which is non-negatable, and we have non-existent, which cannot be objectified. See, interestingly, both Satyam and Tucham cannot be objectified. That which is non-existent, can you objectify? No. That which is you, which is Sat, can you objectify? No. But still, that's where the similarity ends. Between the two, there is a lot of distance. Non-existent, Tucham, and then what do we have? Existent, Sat. What is the status of this poor fellow? Huh? Can you say it is Sat? Can you say it is real? No. Because it has a dependent reality. And then so much, in so many words, the Upanishad says, Ekena mritpindenam sarvam mrinmayam vijñātam bhavati Vācārambanam vikaro namadheyam mrittika iti eva satyam. Clay is Sat in relation to this example, okay? Clay is Sat and pot, you can't call the poor pot non-existent. Why? It is objectifiable, it has a name, it has a form, it is a word with a meaning and a function. What is its function? Vedanta pot, sacred teaching pot. That is its function. Nobody uses this to fill water, otherwise we'll be there all day long. So therefore, it's got a form, it's got a name, it's got a function. Everything in the Jagat, name, form, function, name, form, function, name, form, function, starting with this body, mind, sense complex. Neither can it be called real, nor can it be called unreal. Hanging like sage Trishanku between heaven and earth, this whole Jagat fools us because it's betwixt and between, sandwiched between existent and non-existent is this Jagat. What is the reality status of this pot? The word real, Sat, has been appropriated. You cannot use the word Sat. It has been appropriated by what? Clay. Tucham, non-existent, you cannot use because I can see it. Not only I can see it, it would be a problem if I only could see it and you could not see it. But everybody can see it. So, it is neither real nor unreal. Sad asadbhyam anirvachya. Anirvachyam. Anirvachya means that which cannot be categorically said to exist, because that is Sat, and that which cannot be categorically said to not exist, which is Asat or Tucham. Everything in the world is like that, hanging between existence and non-existence. We get fooled to thinking that it is in reality what? Existent. And therefore, if I go after something and it's not quite real, there is disappointment, and what do? Go after the next thing, and the next thing, and the next thing, and the next thing, and the next thing. Endless. One life gone. Next life. Next life. Next. All that can come is disappointment. And the disappointment is not a bad disappointment, because it leads to dispassion. I finally have to come to the conclusion, what we said yesterday, parikshya lokan karmachitan nirvedam ayat. gained a certain dispassion after keeping on going after the finite, mistaking it to be the infinite, not getting the infinite, getting stuck again and again in the finite. So, but then the whole Jagat is what? You only said it is Sat. It shines like Sat. It is Sat. So what is wrong if I go after the Jagat? What? That which is Sat in the Jagat is you. The same Sat. It is not in the word and it is not in the meaning of the word. It is centered on that from where the word and the meaning are enunciated. Centered on you. Centered on that knowledge because of which the thing exists. That which is everlasting is Sat, and that which borrows the Sat for its existence has a new name. What is that name? Mithya, dependent reality. This Mithya is not false. It's not false at all. What is it? It is dependent. It's not non-existent. It is not false. It is totally dependent on Sat, like even the pot is dependent on clay. No clay, no pot. Yes, clay, still no pot. It could be that, because from the standpoint of this pot, clay is intrinsic to its existence. From the standpoint of the Jagat, Sat is intrinsic to the existence of the Jagat. From the standpoint of clay, pot is an incidental expression of clay. From the standpoint of Sat, Jagat is an incidental manifestation of Brahman. Without Brahman bringing forth anything or taking back anything. More we'll see in the next class at 11 o'clock. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.